for this video, we're gonna be discussing the derivative of a function. But before that, reviewin muna natin yung mga terminologies na kailangan natin sa topic na ito. The first one is the tangent line. This is defined as the line that intersects the curve at only one point. So tingnan natin itong graph. So this is our curve and this is our tangent line. So this intersects the curve at only one point. This point is called the point of tangency. The next term that we need to review is the secant line. Secant line is defined as the line that intersects the curve in two or more distinct points. So tingnan naman natin siya sa ating graph. So this is our curve and this is our secant line. So this intersects the curve at two distinct points. The next term that we need to review is the slope, or in symbol, this is m. So slope of a line is defined as the tangent of its angle of inclination. The symbol of angle of inclination is theta, or equivalently, this is the ratio of the change in vertical distance, or rise, to the change in horizontal distance, which is run. In symbols, this is the symbol for slope, and this is equivalent to tangent theta. Also, we can write it as rise over run. Also, another symbol, rise is delta y. This means the change in vertical distance. And delta x is our run. This means the change in horizontal distance. And the other form that we can have is this. Y sub 2 minus y sub 1 all over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So all of these pertain to the slope. So saan ba natin makikita ang slope ng line? So take a look at this graph. So here is our line. This is 0.1 and this is 0.2. This is the change in vertical distance, or our rise. And this is the change in horizontal distance, which is our run. So the theta here is the angle of inclination of our line. So remember that the slope of a line is constant. So as the point moves along the line in any direction, so the slope is constant. However, the slope of a curve is not constant and must be determined for each particular point of interest. At this point, let the points P1 with the coordinates x sub 1, y sub 1, and point 2 or P2 with the coordinates x sub 2, y sub 2 be any two points on the curve. So here's our graph with a curve and a line having 2 points. So here is our curve, and these are our points. This is P1, this is P2, and here is our line. Let our point 1 be fixed, meaning to say hindi siya aalis dito sa pwesto na ito, while the P2 be moved along the curve towards P1. And as you can see, as point 2 is moving along the curve towards our point 1, we can notice that the slope of the line will vary. So ulitin natin. Habang ang point 2 natin is moving papunta sa ating point 1, yung line connecting the 2 points ay nag-iiba-iba ng kanyang slope. And notice na habang ang point 2 natin ay papunta sa point 1, yung slope of the secant line varies by smaller and smaller amounts and approaches a constant limiting value. And when this occurs, the limiting value is said to be the slope of a curve at that point. And that is the first derivative, or in symbol, this is not an inverse function. So this is the symbol for first derivative and is interpreted as the slope of a curve at that point. In symbols, this is the slope of our tangent line. This is equivalent to the limit of the slope of secant line as delta x or change in x in our run is approaching 0. Or in other symbol, we can write this as the limit of delta y over delta x as delta x approaches 0. And for another symbol, we can write this as the limit of y sub 2 minus y sub 1 all over x sub 2 minus x sub 1 as delta x approaches 0. Now let's answer some problems. Let's have example number 1. Find the equation of the tangent line 2y is equal to x squared minus 4x plus 5 as x approaches 1. So the first thing that we need to do is to list down all the given. So the first given that we have here is the x sub 0. So x sub 0 is just the value of x in our given. Then after that, we are going to have y sub 0. So for us to be able to find the value of y sub 0, we just need to substitute the value of x sub 0 to our given equation or function. So we have 1 squared minus 4 times 1 plus 5. So our y sub 0 is equivalent to positive 2. And let's have our formula, because the first thing that we need to do here is to find the slope of the line. So in finding the slope of the line, we're going to use the formula m. M stands for the slope. The slope is equal to the limit of y minus y sub 0 all over x minus x sub 0 as x approaches x sub 0. And after having our formula, we just need to substitute our given. Y here is our function. Y sub 0, we already have the value of y sub 0, which is 2. X is just x. And x sub 0 is equal to 1. We are going to have this. So y is our function. This is x squared minus 4x plus 5. That's why we have this. Minus y sub 0 is equal to positive 2. That's why we have 2 here. All over x minus x sub 0, which is 1, as x approaches 1. Then after having this, all we need to do is to simplify the numerator. This is 5 minus 2, which is 3. And here we cannot do the direct substitution because the denominator will be 0 and this will become undefined. So what we need to do is to factor our numerator. And the factors are x minus 1 and x minus 3. Then from here, we can cancel x minus 1 in the numerator and x minus 1 in the denominator. So the remaining part is the limit of the quantity x minus 3 as x approaches 1. And by evaluating the limit, we are going to have 1 minus 3, and this is equivalent to negative 2. And this is our slope. Since this slope is negative 2, we can now proceed in finding the equation of our tangent line. So how are we going to do that? Since we have a point, this is our point 1, x sub 0 and y sub 0, 1, 2. And we have a slope. So we're going to use the slope-intercept form. And that is y minus y sub 0 is equal to the slope, or m, times the quantity x minus x sub 0. So by substitution, we are going to have y minus 2 in the left side because y sub 0 is equal to 2. And on the right side, negative 2, which is the slope, times the quantity x minus 1. This is x sub 0. Then let's just multiply negative 2 to x and negative 1. And we are going to have negative 2x plus 2. Then we just need to arrange this in whatever form. It could be in y is equal to mx plus b, or in general form, ax plus by plus c equals 0. So what we have here is the general form. So 2x plus y minus 2 equals 0. And the equation of our tangent line here is 2x plus y minus 4 equals 0. So now we have a curve and our tangent line. So tingnan natin siya sa ating graph. So here is our curve or our parabola. Y is equal to x squared minus 4x plus 5. And this is our tangent. This is the equation that we get from the computation. 2x plus y minus 4 equals 0. And this is the point of tangency. Let's answer number 2 example. Find the equation of the tangent line to the curve f of x is equal to x squared minus 2 at x is equal to negative 2. So just like what we did in our first example, let's identify first the given. So x sub 0 is equal to negative 2. And we have f of x sub 0 because this is f of x. So by finding the value of f of x sub 0, we just need to substitute the value of x sub 0, which is negative 2, to our function. So we have negative 2 squared minus 2. And this is equivalent to 2 because this is 4 minus 2 is equal to 2. Now, let's have our formula to be used in finding the slope. So, magkakaroon lang tayo ng konting pagbabago dun sa mga symbols sa ating formula. But still, the same pa rin naman yung kanyang computation. So, kanina in our first example, we used y minus y sub 0. But here, we're going to use f of x minus f of x sub 0 all over x minus x sub 0 as x approaches x sub 0. And by substitution, f of x is equal to x squared minus 2. So x squared minus 2 minus f of x sub 0 is equal to 2. That's why we have negative 2 here. All over x minus negative 2 because x sub 0 is negative 2. Then let's just simplify this. In the numerator, we have x squared minus 4. And in the denominator, we have x plus 2. So again, hindi natin pwedeng gawin yung direct substitution dito because we are going to have 0 in the denominator and that will make this undefined. So the only thing that we can do here is to find the factors of our numerator dahil factorable naman siya. So the factors are x minus 2 and x plus 2. So kahit naman alin yung mauna dito sa dalawa. And here we can cancel x plus 2 sa taas and x plus 2 sa baba. Then the remaining part is the limit of the quantity x minus 2 as x approaches negative 2. And by evaluating the limit, negative 2 minus 2, and our slope is negative 4. So after finding the slope, we can now find the equation of the tangent line. So meron tayong point x sub 0 and this is also y sub 0. And also we have the slope. So again, let's use the slope-intercept form. So again, here is our formula. Y minus y sub 0 is equal to m, which is the slope, times the quantity x minus x sub 0. Then by substitution, meron tayong y minus 2 because y sub 0 is equal to 2. Then our slope is negative 4 times the quantity x plus 2 because x sub 0 is equal to negative 2, negative times negative, that is positive. Then let's just distribute negative 4 dun sa loob ng parenthesis natin. And we are going to have negative 4x minus 8. Then arrange na lang natin ito papunta sa general form niya. So meron tayong 4x plus y minus 2 plus 8 is equal to 0. And the equation of our tangent line is 4x plus y plus 6 equals 0. So tingnan ulit natin siya sa graph. So this is the curve of our function f of x is equal to x squared minus 2. And this is our tangent line. And as you can see, this only intersects the curve at one point. So this is negative 2 and positive 2. So this is the equation of our tangent line. 4x plus y plus 6 equals 0. And at this point, let's discuss the definition of derivative. So the derivative of a function is defined as instantaneous change in rate. And we can also apply this in some fields like physics. Like if we're going to talk about the change in position, we're going to have the velocity. And if we're talking about the change in velocity, we are pertaining to the acceleration. Okay, so in the previous slides, we have seen the formula for the slope of a tangent, which is also the formula in finding the specific derivative of a function at a given number. So here is our formula in getting the first derivative. So again, this is the symbol for first derivative, hindi siya symbol for the inverse function. So in finding the first derivative, this is equivalent to the limit of the function f of x minus f of x sub 0 all over x minus x sub 0 as x approaches x sub 0. So let's answer examples. Number 1. Find the derivative of the function f of x is equal to 2x squared minus 5x at x is equal to 2. Again, let's list down the given. We have x sub 0, which is 2. Our function is f of x is equal to 2x squared minus 5x. Then f of x sub 0, so we just need to substitute the value of x sub 0 to our function. So 2 times 2 squared minus 5 times 2. So 2 squared is 4 times 2, 8. 5 times 2 is 10. So 8 minus 10 is equal to negative 2. Then let's have again our formula in finding the first derivative. So this is our function. We're going to substitute the value of our function f of x in this part. Then dito naman sa part nito, this is negative 2. So we have 2x squared minus 5x minus negative 2 all over x minus 2 as x approaches 2. So simplify lang natin yung nasa numerator. We can multiply negative to negative. That is positive. So 2x minus 5x plus 2 all over x minus 2. So again, hindi natin pwedeng i-substitute the value of x directly because we're going to have 0 in the denominator and that is undefined. So the only thing that we can do here is to factor our numerator. And the factors are 2x minus 1 and x minus 2. Wherein we can cancel x minus 2 dun sa taas and x minus 2 dun sa baba. And the remaining part is 2x minus 1. So let's evaluate the limit now. 2 times 2 minus 1, and this is equivalent to 3. So this is how we are going to find the first derivative of a function at a given point or number. Let's have our second example. Find the first derivative of the function f of x is equal to the square root of the quantity of the sum of 2x and 7 at x is equal to 1. So just like what we did in our first example, let's list down our given. So our first given, x sub 0 is equal to 1. And this is our function. F of x is equal to the square root of the quantity of the sum of 2x and 7. Then f of x sub 0. So dun sa loob ng square root natin, we have 2 times 1 plus 7. So 2 times 1 is 2 plus 7 is 9. And the square root of 9 is 3. Then let's have again our formula. So the first derivative is equal to the limit of the function f of x minus f of x sub 0 all over x minus x sub 0 as x approaches x sub 0. So by substitution, we have the square root of 2x plus 7. This is our f of x. And this is our f of x sub 0, 3. All over x minus 1 because x sub 0 is equal to 1. Then as x approaches 1. So at this point, hindi pa rin natin siya pwedeng i-direct substitution kasi magkakaroon tayo ng 1 minus 1 sa baba. And that is undefined. Also, we cannot factor this part. And we have another option to find the limit of this. And that is by multiplying the numerator and the denominator by its conjugate. So the conjugate is just the numerator with plus sign. So here is the conjugate. So the square root of 2x plus 7 plus 3. So multiply natin siya sa taas and sa baba. And from here, multiply na natin siya. So first term to first term. So pag pinag-multiply natin tong dalawa, makakancel yung radical or yung square root natin. Then last term to last term, negative 3 times positive 3, that's negative 9. So this is 2x plus 7 minus 9. All over the quantity x minus 1, yun yung denominator nung original natin, then times yung conjugate natin. And at this part, we can simplify our numerator. So we have 7 minus 9. And this is equivalent to negative 2. At dito sa part nito, pwede nating kuhanin yung greatest common factor ng ating numerator. Because pag ginawa natin yun, may makakancel tayo sa taas tsaka dun sa baba, which is x minus 1. So yung greatest common factor yung numerator natin is 2. So 2 times x is 2x and 2 times 1 is 2. And here, as you can see, we have the same thing that we can cancel in the numerator, which is x minus 1, and in the denominator. So the remaining part now is in the numerator we have 2. In the denominator, we have square root of 2x plus 7 plus 3. And we can do the direct substitution here. 2, then sa ibaba, we have 2 times 1 plus 7 sa loob ng radical sign plus 3 sa labas. So 2 times 1 is 2 plus 7 is equal to 9. So the square root of 9 is 3. So 3 plus 3 is 6. So we have 2 over 6 and we can turn that into lowest term. And 2 over 6 is equal to 1/3. So this is the end of this video. If you find this video informative, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. God bless us all.